Hey everyone, I am Daniel. I'm joined today by Pax, another fellow content creator for Arkham Horror the card game, and we're going to be talking about some Guardian previews for the new Tommy Muldoon deck. And I decided to bring Pax along because Guardian is your favorite class, one of your favorite classes.
Yeah, I think so.
And Tommy from Chapter One was an investigator that you
Yeah,
liked a lot.
Tommy's one of my favorites. There's something about the, idiot cop with the heart of gold. It's like, all right, at least he's trying to do something good,
well,
even if he's no good at it.
he's no longer a rookie cop. He's just the officer now, and
Yeah.
we saw a couple cards last week when, or 2 weeks ago now, I think it was, that were part of his deck. And I've got four new ones for you today. So two of them are upgrades of things that we've seen previously. Two of them are totally new. So let's get into it. So Protective Vest was the card that was in the original article for Tommy Muldoon. Basically, it was a tutor for finding his firearms or upgrades. Cost a bunch of resources, some soak. Upgraded one is level 4. Let's check it out here. It's got two more icons. It additionally gains the police trait, which is interesting to me, and has the text, you have one additional hand slot, which may only be used to hold a firearm asset. Reaction, after you play Protective Vest, search the top 9 cards. Originally it was 6. For a firearm upgrade, add to your hand, shuffle your deck. One more health compared to the level 0. So for 4 XP, you're getting a lot of little different things, but is it enough for 4 XP? What do you think, Pax?
That's a good question. So for 4 XP, I mean, like my knee-jerk reaction is kind of the same that we've seen on a lot of cards, is that like it seems a little XP expensive for what you're getting. Like
Mhm.
the hand slot's very good because we've seen the service revolvers. Searching deeper is always good, like the difference between backpack level 0 and backpack level 2. I mean, that's the difference between 6 and 12, but still, 9 is 3 more than 6. Um the icons kind of like really are not going to matter unless you just happen to not draw any of this card. And I don't know how excited you are to run two of them at like 8 XP for two copies.
Yikes. Yeah.
Um and then the one extra health. I mean, like, there's a lot of things that the card is doing. It's not really blowing me away with any of them, but it is, I think, important to have a card that gives you bonus hand slots, given that we've seen this service revolver that is like, you know, pretty good thing to just like have in play,
Hmm.
yeah, shooting at guys. So, I think, yeah, little expensive, but like not. I don't think this goes into like the unplayable zone.
No, I think that we've seen this a lot with Chapter 2 stuff where it's like off by 1 in our estimation from Chapter 1, where it's like, I could see this being 3 XP. Feels a lot like Martyr's Vambrace, where it kind of had a pretty cool effect, but was gated to level 3 to 5 Guardian Investigators. This seems
Yeah, that's a good comparison.
kind
Yeah,
of like that too, but 4 XP seems to be just a little bit too much. That said, yeah, that's kind of what we've been getting for a little while. We haven't seen this. I'm recording this on a Monday. We haven't seen anything that was spoiled on Tuesday or Wednesday. That's another like 8 to 10 cards
that's
from
right. Yeah,
the Tommy Muldoon deck. So maybe there's like other stuff that makes sense here. But it's one of the higher XP cards in the deck. I think this is card number 31. There can't be too many others. So.
that's right. I think it would be 32 or 33, depending on how many singletons there are. Right?
Mhm.
Yeah. You mentioned that it gets the police trait added. I kind of like that little bit of flavor because it's like it's almost like the opposite of the illicit tag in the sense of like how official having this protective vest is, depending on what kind of like access you have. I don't know. I like that. It's kind of charming.
Do you think
Um,
that there's something in the deck that cares about the police trait now? I have a sneaking suspicion, and maybe we've all seen it already by Thursday, but I feel like there's got to be something that is like the
yeah,
Miskatonic archaeology funding, you know?
we've seen quite a lot of it. I've been wondering if, like I said about the illicit, if there's going to be some sort of you know uh, criminal guardian guy that's like you can't take police cards, right?
Okay, that makes sense.
Like if it was an investigator, right?
Hmm.
But regardless, I think it's a cool card. I don't think it's like I said, little XP expensive, but like this certainly does the things that it says on it, and it does all of them like pretty competently. I wouldn't be upset to run this if what I really need is to have an extra hand slot, aside from how much XP it's going to run me.
Yeah, and I think you really do want the extra hand slot. Bandolier from Chapter 1, I wouldn't say it was like ubiquitous because it was expensive, but if you wanted to run multiple things in your hand slots and you had a two-handed weapon, or the upgraded one, you had lots of other stuff to throw in the hand slots, you kind of needed to do it. So I'm not surprised to see it here in Chapter 2. It just feels like an effect that's hard to play when it's only available at level 4, as far as we know.
That's right. Yes, there's definitely a bit of tension there of like not getting the hand slots at low level. So it's like, oh, do I even put these level 0 service revolvers in my deck if I've got a two-handed weapon? Like, so there's definitely some tension there, but I think it's still something that we'll eventually see play, just from the kind of fantasy of slinging around a whole ton of guns, right?
For sure. Okay, let's move on to our next card, which is, like I said, another upgrade. So here is the original from the core set. It was Endurance, the talent that let you spend resources for combat and agility tests, but a little bonus if they happen to be attacks or evasions. And we have a level 3, which is the same
Uh,
thing, except starting. You may begin the game with
Starting,
one
which is
copy of a starting card in
not
your opening hand.
permanent.
No, it's not permanent. So it feels like this is a whole riff on the higher education, streetwise, etc. from chapter 1. What does starting mean, you ask? Um, to me,
I
reading the text
do.
there isn't quite as clear as it could have been. So I reached out and got a little bit more clarity, and I'm happy to share with you exactly from the chapter 2 rulebook what it says. Let me read this. Okay, starting is a keyword ability after drawing their opening hand and taking a mulligan, but before shuffling any cards that may have been set aside during the step back into their deck, an investigator may search their deck for one copy of a card with the starting keyword and add it to their hand. This means that an investigator may begin the game with one additional card in their opening hand, which would be really good, but it might not happen, right? Things could not work out in
Oh
your opening
yeah,
mulligan. So,
that's right. If you have 5 cards and you say, I got a mulligan for these cards, you get your starting card in hand. You're kind of waste. It's not a very good 3 XP spent if that's the case. Um,
and if it's
but
in
I
your
guess
opening
I guess that
5 to
leaves
begin
you
with, right?
open. Pardon me.
If it's in your opening 5 also, right?
Oh, that's true. Yeah. Right, before it searched their deck for a copy of the card with the starting keyword, not deck and discard pile. Um, or I mean, however you choose to conceptualize shuffling them back.
Right.
Um, but that does leave, like, say, oh well, no, because this is a level 3 card, so it's not like I'm gonna have this level 3 endurance and then also a starting of another class, right? If assuming assuming that sharp rhetoric and silver tongue and all them get similar treatment.
Yeah, but what if
Um,
there's some other card with starting, like a weapon or something?
Right. That's the thing is what I was thinking is like, okay, if you've got a copy of Endurance with starting, maybe it's really not that big of a deal for you to also have other cards that have starting because of the fact that the mulligan can conceivably force one of them to be into your hand, right?
Right.
Um, so that's kind of cool. I don't hate that.
No, it's
I'm
interesting.
perfectly fine with the icons staying the same on it,
Yeah.
and
uh
the
ability's good still. I mean, that's we already.
yeah, the ability was good. The ability was good. It's fine now. And it's a lot better if you get like the whole draw of these cards is the fact that if you play them early and get to spend one resource for the +2 many times,
Mhm.
then the payout is actually, you know, the cost for the skill value you're getting approaches 2, right? 1 to 2 ratio. It doesn't ever get to 1 to 2 ratio, but it approaches it. And a 1 to 2 ratio is really good. Like we
Really,
saw
really
that with
good.
higher education.
Mhm.
Um,
I do like that the starting idea, even though if it may not work out perfectly every time, you may have to think about your how aggressive you are with mulliganing if you have one copy, or if you're running two copies. That's even an interesting question too. But just sort of that compromise of, well, higher education saved you the play action, it saved you the resources to play it. This does neither of those, but it gets it into your hand early enough to make use of it the entire scenario if that's your game plan.
That's right. Yeah. So like if you get an endurance and say, Logan early enough,
Mhm.
like you're you're gonna be passing your fights. So and occasionally evasion. So that's cool. I like this. I like this. I don't know that it's amazing. Like it's certainly not as good as the permanents, right? But the permanents were nuts,
They were nuts.
right?
Yeah.
They were nuts. So if the intent is okay, let's take a look at what the permanents were and dial them back a little bit. Sure, this seems fine, and I like this, despite the fact that it's kind of hokey. I like this. I
The,
expect that there will be people out there that choose to forego this whole bit about it possibly being in your opening hand, opening mulligan stuff. Like I'm certain there's people that are just gonna be like, I'm just gonna set my endurance aside, do my normal mulligan, and then add it to my hand.
I mean, that's
Right?
how Diana Stanley worked with her Dark Insight. We're very, very sure that's what that meant. But
Yeah.
yeah,
But this is different. It
this is
is
different.
worded different here, and it could be that it's intended to be different, right? Like it's written pretty explicitly here. But I just expect that some people are going to be like, yeah, whatever. If I'm spending 3 XP, I'm just getting this in my hand as an extra card.
The other
That's
comparison
fine.
is to the level 4 talents from chapter 1, right? For physical training,
Hmm.
etc., which, didn't have the whole start in your hand business, but gave you the two resources essentially every round. Um,
Yeah, and they were
those
really
were
good. Like
very good, yeah.
I don't I don't know the extent to which people recognize that they're like really, really, really strong cards, but like they're really good cards. They're really good cards. You should play those cards occasionally. I know they cost 8 XP to get 2 copies of them into your deck, but they are strong. You will pass many tests with them.
And I think as long as you're doing the attack or evasion on this guy or whatever they are for each of the other ones, it's like almost getting there. And I feel like it's I mean, again, XP environment is rebalanced here, but there's
Yeah,
something to be
I think.
said. Yeah.
Sorry.
No, go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say, the XP environment is rebalanced. The economy environment is rebalanced too,
Hmm.
right?
Yep.
Um, and so like I said, you get Logan out, it's like, okay, sure, every time you kill a guy, you get a +2 for later, right?
That's good.
Um,
It's really good.
that's great. That's the Wolf Mask kind of thing, but not being as crazy as Wolf Mask was. Um, but at the same time, without a bunch more economy to play all of your stuff, we're looking at a 2 cost endurance, a 4 cost Logan, whatever cost weapon you're playing. There's a lot of costs to add up, right? You only start with 5, you get play an emergency cash, you get to 8. Well, we've already spent 6 of it. What weapon are you using, right?
I don't know. Maybe that service revolver that costs two, I think? I think it's two.
Yeah, 2. So there's your $8, and now your service revolver is dealing you damage every time you want to take a shot with it. So you know what I mean? Like it is a very different environment. So I'm excited to see how that shakes out. I think that this is fine. This
Yeah.
is fine.
I think it's a cool riff on what we've seen before. I'm excited to see how it goes. Let's move on to
Yeah.
some new cards. This next one is well, there's a lot of allies in this set. So we're going to look at a rookie cop, and this is a level 0 card. It's costing us 3 resources, as pretty much all these assets have been that are allies. 1 willpower icon, ally, police. Rookie cop may be assigned damage and or horror dealt to other investigators at your location. Reaction: when rookie cop is defeated, discover 1 clue at your location. Too eager to be cautious, too naive to know better. 2/2 soak, ally slot.
What the
Kind of reminds me of Tetsuo,
so
right? Tetsuo has sort of a similar
well, I
ability.
mean, yes, it very much reminds you of Tetsuo, but the thing that it really reminds you of is
This guy.
yeah, bodyguard.
Mhm.
What the hell?
Yeah. That one's in the
I
core set here, and like the noticeable differences are you can assign horror to him from other investigators for some reason.
yeah.
He only has 1
What
horror soak to begin with, and as we know from chapter 1, and maybe things are different, who knows? But from chapter 1, 1 clue is a lot better than 1 damage.
yeah. This is as confusing as Bodyguard was when we saw Bodyguard.
Mhm.
Rookie Cop is like the thing that when you read Bodyguard, you thought it should have been,
Yeah.
right? Because if Bodyguard, honestly, I would go as far as saying that if Bodyguard was 2/2 and could be assigned damage and horror, and Rookie Cop was a 1/2 and could be assigned only horror from other investigators, that this would almost that would seem to be like the two cards are kind of being respectful of one another a little more,
Yeah.
if that makes sense.
Because of the one clue.
Yeah, but I will say, not to belabor the point on Bodyguard too much, because enough crying over spilt milk has been had with the Bodyguard. The horse is thoroughly dead. It's been dead. It's a skeleton. We're smashing the bones into dust on beating that horse. So, um, Rookie Cop is actually like that's actually a pretty decent ally, right? Like you
Yeah.
said, like Tetsuo is great. Obviously, the recursion is nuts, but like 3 cost for 2/2 that you can assign damage and horror to from others, and then you get a clue when they die. Like that's actually like that's not bad.
I think what's cool about Rookie Cop is the clues are always there, right? For Tetsuo, drawing the item from your deck or discard pile, you have to think about that a bit more, right? Like,
Hmm.
do I need the am I looking for my weapon still? Am I getting something I lost?
Am I
It's
giving this
not
to someone else? Does anyone else
right.
need?
That's true, right? You can use it for other investigators at your location. And this is just like it's a high shroud location. There's a locked door here, whatever it might be,
Yeah,
you can
and an
just
enemy pops out.
exactly. You
Oh,
just fire it off. Or a
make a
treachery,
draw
right?
action.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I think Rookie Cop's pretty good. Bodyguard notwithstanding, confusion of why exactly these are balanced the way they are, notwithstanding. Rookie Cop seems pretty good, and it's another police traded guy. There you go. See,
Mm-hmm. Do you want to see
even
one
more
more
police.
police?
One more
One
police.
more police. One more police. And this is a bigger XP one, back to level 3. Detective Sherman, who's an eagle eye. He's cost 4, 3 XP. You get +1 combat. He's an ally and a detective and a police. I don't remember if Michael Lee is all of those things, but maybe. Detective Sherman may be assigned damage and or horror dealt to other investigators at your location. That same thing we've been seeing, which I love for Guardians. And the reaction after damage at all, any damage, is placed on Detective Sherman. Exhaust him, discover one clue at your location. 3/2 soak.
Okay. So this is like, okay. Well, first off, this guy is the man in the yellow hat from Curious George.
It's
Jesus Christ.
it's such a bright piece of
Who
clothing
who
he's
is
wearing,
who
right?
is walking around in the 1920s looking like this?
I don't know.
Jeez Louise. The guys in the force are like, holy fuck, here comes Sherman. Oh,
And that's why like all of those bullets are being shot that way. It's like this is the most obvious
yeah.
target out there.
Yeah, exactly. He's like, fellas, they definitely saw me. Duck and cover, buddy. Um, but okay. Jokes aside, um, it's like Gret kind of tuned down a little bit, right? Um, but it's not just Gret tuned down a little bit because of the assigned damage and or horror from other investigators, and the fact that you don't have to kill you don't have to be the one to get the kill to get the clue. You just have to be able to put a damage on him. Um,
Which is good. I think that's goes along with that assigned damage dealt to other investigators very well. So you can do some sneaky stuff and get that clue when you didn't have to do much other work. So you don't have to think about the action economy quite as much.
that's right, yeah, and also like, you're not getting the intellect, but like, okay, fine. Gret was pretty good. Um,
She cost
Gret was
5,
really
right?
good.
She's kind of like
Yes,
a
and that's the big thing, right? Like I always say to myself, like, the biggest cost differences are from 0 to 1 because it's the difference between always being able to play it versus needing to wait till upkeep. Um, and then again for things that cost you like 4 to 5 to 6, because once you've played a 5 cost thing, you are literally just sitting around waiting for money or cards or something. Like you just can't do anything else. Um, and so lowering the cost to 4 makes me feel like, okay, sure, okay, fine. Opening round, maybe I take a resource play Detective Sherman, get my service revolver out. Cool, right? Now I can
Mhm.
attack at +2, and if I take an attack with my service revolver, I'm getting a clue out of it, and you know what I mean? Whereas when it's a
Yeah.
5, it's like, okay, you really need to have that emergency cash, otherwise you're not really doing much of anything. So the difference between 4 and 5, I mean, every resource is important, right? Because it's not a huge scale, right? Like you just you start with 5 and you get one every turn, and you play a couple cards to get you 2 or 3.
I do feel like Gret was the perfect guardian. Uh, Basically everything on the card does a lot,
That's right. Yeah.
and that's fun. Like that is a what is a Timmy kind of player where everything is like really good. Agency backup,
Hmm.
another one of those. All the numbers are very
Yep.
high. Um, and this is just I actually think this is a 3 XP card. Like of the other things that we saw today, you're like, I don't know if I want to spend 4 for the protective vest. This feels like
Yeah.
a
I think I see what you're saying.
yeah, an actual 3 XP card.
Yeah. Like Gret was probably slightly above curve for a 3 XP card because that intellect, like the intellect boost is just so dang good,
Yeah,
right?
and you got clues from
Um,
connecting locations. It's really good too.
Clues from connecting locations, and you get, it's like 4 of them.
Yep.
And if you do any healing or anything like that. Now, and Sherman's kind of in the same case with the healing, right? Like if there's any healing on allies, all of a sudden the clues that you're getting out of him before he eats it is crazy,
hmm
which
Now,
again with that jacket is just hard to believe.
is is the bandages work because it's you're not
Oh,
because you're placing the damage here? Does it count as
yeah, you place the damage on, yeah, because d- uh, bandages are after the damage has been fully dealt, and placing is one of the steps of dealing damage.
okay?
So
Okay, good.
after it is placed, yeah, bandages works really well with Sherman. Oh man. Okay, so Daniela, that's kind of funny, but Daniela works so well with Detective Sherman in a service revolver then.
hmm
That's kind of great. I love that.
Yeah, there's a good deck there, and that doesn't cost that
Yeah,
much
no.
XP, right? All that stuff you don't need extra or whatever going on. You can just
Yeah,
run
that's
2
true.
copies
Yeah.
of this guy and you should be okay.
Now granted, you know, until you've got your charisma, you are you are foregoing Logan
hmm
when you run other allies, and he's the only Guardian economy we've seen? Question
Yeah,
mark?
that so far.
So, yeah, so far. So like sure, you can still run both if you pick up the charisma. That's an extra 3 XP, but it's also an extra $4, right?
It's true.
And if you get them in the wrong order, then the Logan just takes forever to play. Um but I mean, if you need a lot of skill value, that's +2 combat. Like I don't know, I feel like there's something there, and I think it's cool. Um and I think that this guy isn't even necessarily out of place in um
In Legacy,
in Legacy, right? Like
yeah, I agree.
yes, he's not as, when you put him side to side with Gret, he doesn't the card doesn't do as much, but he is less expensive, and he is getting the clues from a different condition, and so you can, I don't know, run trusted and do some healing stuff, and be shoving damage to him from your friend that is intentionally taking damage. You know what I mean? Um,
Yeah, no, this is a
whatever.
good design. I'm excited to see um, what people do with him,
What
especially with other kinds of stuff. And man, he's the third police card in this set. There's got to be something there.
the third police card that we've seen today?
Yeah.
Protective vest, rookie cop, and Detective Sherman. Well, there's also the service revolver.
hmm
Was there anything else in the release article? I don't remember if any of them.
I don't
I mean, obviously
remember.
Tommy himself, but
Yeah, but
point being,
that can't be an
there's
accident.
yeah. It would be very cool. I think either would be cool. I mean, I guess it might be a little when I said the thing about, oh, maybe if it's like the opposite of Finn where he can take illicits but he can't, or the opposite of Preston. It's like, oh, someone who's more in the criminal world, so they can't take police stuff. I don't know that that would work very well if on an entire starter deck is like not
No,
takeable
yeah,
from the class, but
right.
it's still an interesting thought. You know what? I would go as far as saying I'd be surprised if there wasn't some sort of police synergy thing. Maybe
That
Oh gosh.
investigation parlay event that we saw today, that must have been police traded, right?
Yes, that's right. Yeah, this was being recorded on Monday night, so
Yep.
we'd seen the cards from Whisper in the Darkness, the stock ammo reload, which is not, I mean, that's not a police thing, but on the beat was police traded for sure.
Anyway,
Um,
that's it. Those are the
yeah,
four cards. Pretty good crop, I think.
yeah, yeah, I think so. I'm excited. I'm excited for man. I gotta say, Tommy's design is really cool. I'm excited for this. I think it's really neat. And these are, even though we look at that and we see that the XP is kind of hokey and stuff for a couple of the cards, and that things are toned down, I'm still excited for it.
Yeah.
Because a lot of the time I feel like I like to play on standard, and sometimes I need to temper things back a little bit. Sometimes you do it too much, obviously. A couple of playthroughs of my channel where I made things a lot harder on myself than I needed to, but sometimes you kind of have to like go out of your way to avoid the really crazy strong stuff so that you still have a bit of a challenge. You got to find something interesting to do to get the challenge out of the game that you want. And so like just printing good stuff that's like a little tiny bit less crazy than some of the really strong cards that we had in chapter 1 is like probably going to be right up my alley. Um
I mean, that's Guardian
so
for you. Their biggest crime is that most of the cards are fair.
yeah, that's right.
When you have a badge, I guess that's just how it works. But
That's right.
I like the cards. I think this Tommy set's going to be quite interesting. I'm looking forward to all the other weeks of previews too, and it's nuts that we're getting basically the entire deck this week. I think it's almost all the cards, if not all of them. So we'll see where it lands after tomorrow, Friday. And thanks for watching. Thanks, Pax, for joining me here. And we'll see you again for more stuff in the future.
Bye.